Holy fuck, humans are strong, Xyloth shouted, watching the blurry video feed of a single human miner lifting an enormous boulder off his trapped crewmate. So of course they're strong, you idiot. Look at the size of that planet they evolved on. Nearly twice the mass of Ulia Prime. That's why their muscles are so dense, Draco chided. Now shut up and keep monitoring their vitals. We've got to make sure they all survive this cave-in. The two Ulian scientists huddled over the glowing screens of the URS Nexus, the research vessel humming quietly in Earth's orbit. They'd spent months studying these bizarre bipedal creatures, marveling at their incredible strength and resilience despite their relatively small size. The average human male could lift objects weighing up to 90 kilograms, while an Ulian could barely manage 50, and they were nearly twice the size of a human. But their research had taken an unexpected turn, when an emergency distress signal had pinged the Nexus from a human mining colony on Kepler 1649c, a rocky planet orbiting a distant red dwarf star. A massive earthquake had triggered a cave-in, trapping 50 miners deep underground with limited air and water. The unstable tunnels made traditional rescue methods impossible, and the colony's 200 inhabitants were in a panic. As the closest ship in range, the Ulians had no choice but to intervene. "If we don't find a way to extract those miners soon, they'll suffocate," Draco muttered grimly, his eyes locked on the dwindling oxygen readings. "But how? Our equipment isn't built for this kind of terrain, and our crew isn't strong enough to dig them out by hand." Xyloth's eyes widened as he pointed to the video feed, where a group of humans were gathering around the collapsed tunnel entrance, their faces grim with determination. "I think they've got a plan," he whispered, "and if it involves their insane strength, they might just pull it off. Ancestors, I hope they do, because if those miners die, it'll be on our heads." Draco's eyes sparkled with excitement as he continued his tale. "You won't believe what happened next. A team of 10 human miners, led by the colony's chief engineer, Peter Jackson, volunteered to attempt a daring rescue mission. Despite our protests, we truly believed it was far too dangerous. Jackson and his team insisted on proceeding." Xyloth leaned forward, his curiosity piqued. What kind of equipment did they use for the rescue? Surely they had some advanced tech to help them navigate the treacherous terrain. Each miner was equipped with a standard-issue exosuit designed to protect them from the harsh environment of Kepler 1649c, Draco explained. They also had a set of specialized tools for excavation and tunneling. But what truly set the humans apart was their incredible strength and endurance. Draco's voice took on a tone of awe as he described how Jackson and his team worked tirelessly for hours, digging through the rubble and debris. When their tools proved ineffective, they resorted to using their bare hands. We watched in amazement as the humans lifted boulders weighing hundreds of kilograms, their muscles straining under the immense weight. Xyloth shook his head in disbelief. That should be impossible for a species of their size. How could they manage such feats? "Their physical capabilities are truly remarkable," Draco agreed. "Even our own rescue teams with their advanced technology and equipment would have struggled to make progress in such conditions." As the conversation continued, Draco revealed the outcome of the daring rescue mission. After 12 grueling hours, Jackson and his team managed to reach the trapped miners. They found them huddled together in a small air pocket, their oxygen supplies nearly depleted. Xyloth leaned forward, his eyes wide with wonder. "Incredible! But how did they manage to bring the miners back to the surface? The tunnels must have been treacherous, especially with injured crew members in tow." Draco nodded, his expression grave. "It was no easy feat, my friend. Jackson and his team had to navigate a maze of narrow passages and unstable caverns, all while carrying the weakened miners on their backs. Some of the rescued crew were badly injured, unable to walk on their own. The humans had to carefully maneuver them through the tight spaces, relying on their incredible strength and agility to keep everyone safe." "I can't even imagine the difficulty of such a task," Xyloth murmured, shaking his head in disbelief. "It gets worse," Draco continued. "At one point during the rescue, a massive aftershock triggered another cave-in, blocking the main tunnel they were using to escape. With time running out and oxygen levels dropping rapidly, Jackson had to think fast. He made the bold decision to use the miners' exosuits to create a makeshift support structure, holding up the collapsing tunnel long enough for the entire group to find an alternate route back to the surface. Xyloth's jaw dropped. That's some quick thinking. And to have the resourcefulness to use their equipment in such a way, it's astounding. Indeed, Draco agreed. The Ullian rescue teams were stunned by the speed and efficiency of the human-led operation. When Jackson and his team finally emerged from the cave system, carrying the last of the rescued miners, the entire colony erupted in cheers and applause. I can only imagine the relief they must have felt, Xyloth said, his voice filled with admiration. To have survived such an ordeal, and to have saved so many lives in the process. Draco's eyes sparkled with a newfound respect for the human race. We were left speechless, Xyloth. The strength, the bravery, the sheer determination displayed by those miners. It was unlike anything we had ever witnessed before. In that moment we realized just how much we had underestimated these remarkable creatures. As the Ullian scientists continued to marvel at the incredible display of human strength and resilience, Draco's expression grew even more somber. There's something else you need to know about the rescue mission, Xyloth, something that left our medical team utterly astounded. Xyloth leaned in, his curiosity piqued. What is it, Draco? What else did the humans do that we haven't already covered? Draco took a deep breath before continuing. When our medical team examined the rescued miners, they discovered that several of them had sustained severe injuries during the cave-in. We're talking about broken bones, internal bleeding, injuries that would have been debilitating if not fatal for most species. Xyloth's eyes widened in disbelief. You're telling me that these miners, despite being gravely injured, still managed to survive the ordeal, and not just survive, but actively participate in their own rescue? Draco nodded solemnly. That's exactly what I'm telling you. The human body's ability to endure and recover from trauma is nothing short of extraordinary. Take Michael Thompson, for example. He's a 45-year-old miner who suffered a compound fracture of his femur during the initial cave-in. Xyloth winced at the thought of such a painful injury. A compound fracture. That's when the bone pierces through the skin, right? I can't even imagine the agony he must have been in. You're absolutely right, Draco confirmed. The pain would have been excruciating, not to mention the significant blood loss that often accompanies such injuries. But here's the thing. Thompson didn't let that stop him. He crawled through those tunnels, dragging his broken leg behind him, and joined the rescue team. He used his intimate knowledge of the cave system to guide them to the other trapped miners. Xyloth shook his head in amazement. That's incredible. To have the strength and the presence of mind to do something like that, even in the face of such overwhelming pain. And Thompson wasn't the only one, Draco added. Several other injured miners also pushed through their pain to assist in the rescue efforts. They refused to give up, refused to let their crewmates down. It was a display of physical resilience and mental fortitude, unlike anything I've ever encountered in my years of studying various species across the galaxy. Xyloth leaned back in his chair, trying to process the magnitude of what he had just heard. I have to admit, Draco, I'm at a loss for words. These humans continue to surprise and amaze me at every turn. To think that they could endure so much, both physically and mentally, and still come out on top. Draco nodded in agreement. It's a testament to their strength and their unwavering determination. Our medical team had to completely re-evaluate their understanding of human physiology and the limits of their endurance in light of these events. We've always known that humans were tough, but this is something else entirely. Xyloth's eyes widened in disbelief as Draco revealed the tragic twist in the tale of the human miners' rescue mission. Peter Jackson and 2 others trapped in the cave-in after all they had done to save their crewmates? Draco nodded solemnly. It was a cruel twist of fate. Just as the last group of miners was being led to safety, a massive aftershock struck the already unstable cave system. The tremors caused a catastrophic collapse, trapping Jackson and the others who had stayed behind to ensure everyone else's safety. And the remaining miners, exhausted and injured as they were, tried to reach them. Xyloth asked, his voice heavy with emotion. They did, Draco confirmed. Despite their own wounds and fatigue, they worked tirelessly to dig through the rubble, desperately trying to reach their trapped comrades. But the shifting rock and debris made it impossible. Even with the assistance of our own rescue teams and advanced technology, we were unable to locate Jackson and the others in the maze of broken tunnels. Xyloth listened in silence, his expression grim as Draco recounted the heartbreaking decision to call off the search after several days of fruitless efforts. The colony had to accept the painful reality that Jackson and his fellow miners were lost, entombed deep within the planet's crust, Draco said, his voice tinged with sorrow. "A tragic loss," Xyloth murmured. "To think that after all they had accomplished, all the lives they had saved—" Draco nodded. The loss of Jackson, a beloved leader and friend to many, cast a pall over the colony. Even as they celebrated the miraculous rescue of the other miners, it was a bittersweet victory, one that came at a tremendous cost. As the two Ulian scientists sat in silence, reflecting on the events that had unfolded on Kepler 1649c, they found themselves humbled by the experience and the profound loss. "For all our advancements and knowledge," Draco mused, "we still have much to learn from the tenacity and self-sacrifice demonstrated by the human spirit." Xyloth nodded in agreement. Their physical capabilities are indeed remarkable, but it is their unwavering courage and willingness to put others before themselves that truly sets them apart. As the URS Nexus prepared to depart from Earth's orbit, Draco and Xyloth knew that they would carry the story of the human miners with them, a testament to the strength and resilience of a species that had captured their hearts and minds. The universe, they realized, was a vast and unpredictable place, and even the strongest among us were not invincible in the face of its challenges. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.